My name is Dexter J. Singleton. I'm the director of a Raisin in the Sun T2 season opener, as well as a senior artistic associate and director of new play development. The play was one of the first plays that I saw live as a teenager, and it was a play that was very influential. This was before, though, that I even wanted to get into theater professionally or the arts, before I was an artist, and it was just a field trip for school. But it actually featured, it was a college production of A Raisin in the Sun that featured a student who was an alum of my high school. And so my teacher thought it would be really great to get a chance to go and see it, and featured this kid who had just graduated a few years prior. And his name is David Ramsey, and then he went on to become, he's still an actor and has been doing it for a lot of years, and is probably one of the most successful actors to ever come out of my high school. And so he played the role of Walter Lee, and that inspired me, and I just never seen anything like it, but that particular character, the story and the structure of it, and it just really inspired me to want to see more plays from that point. And then eventually, a few years later, I decided that I wanted to be an artist myself. Well, A Raisin in the Sun has always been considered to be an American classic. I know a lot of people in the American theater community consider it to be one of the best plays ever written. It's a play that some people think is structurally perfect in terms of how it builds character and plot and storyline, and every single character is so richly created. And the history of Lorraine Hansberry. She wrote this play when she was only 29 years old. It was the first play written by a Black woman that was on Broadway, and launched the careers of so many actors throughout the American history of film, television, and the theater. And so it had, and it's been, just widely produced as well since its, premiere many years ago. And this year is also the 65th anniversary of the play's premiere in 1959 on Broadway. So I think all of those different things, along with, because I had also taught the play in school as an educator professor myself for many years, I just always had my own take, or my own things that I thought about the play, my own perspective on the play that I thought always wanted to be able to eventually get a chance to direct and put on stage myself. And this was my opportunity. And so when this came about, we had an opportunity to put it on the season. It was one that Bob always mentions that he's been wanting to do this play on a season from the beginning, and it had always been on a list and always been in his mind. And so this just seemed like the perfect opportunity. I think one of the things that was very interesting, we had another educator come to Final Dress just a few days ago, and who had also had her class read it in anticipation of coming to the play and preparing for that. And she mentioned that even though she had seen it several times many years ago, but not recently, and then reading it with her students, she came away from our Final Dress performance being reminded of how funny the play is, and how much of the humor, sometimes when you read a play, especially sometimes older plays, the humor didn't necessarily jump off the page for. Everybody knows the play, those who know it it for its great drama, but sometimes forget of how funny it is. And that, for me, I love comedy. I love to, when I direct a play, to find a balance between comedy and drama. And I think the best playwrights are the ones who are able to have a hard-hitting dramatic moment, but then find a way to flip that into a great side-splitting, deep belly laugh. And it helps the drama go down easier when you have a really great moment. And Lorraine is really fantastic at being able to flip those moments between comedy and drama. And so with this play, I think you hopefully will find that as a viewer, you can come and see it in 1 minute. You might be really pulled in by a dramatic moment that's very tense, but then in just a couple seconds later, a huge joke will be told, or a huge comedic moment, and then you might find yourself just, dying with laughter. And so for me, that's really a big part, why I think this play is still so relatable and still so important for audiences in 2024. Yeah, well, a lot of people mention Lorraine Hansberry again as one of the greatest of all time. I mean, even just a really prolific, amazing, award-winning writer, Dominique Morisseau, who a lot of people know her work and from the theater and TV and film. And Dominique always mentions Lorraine Hansberry. She says, "I stand on the shoulders of Lorraine Hansberry." And so her work has been influenced, and so many American writers and writers across the world, their work has been really highly influenced by that of Lorraine Hansberry, and in particular A Raisin in the Sun. And so, like you mentioned, this is a play for a lot of people. You see it and people can't believe that this play was written in the 50s, because the language and what she's talking about and her ability to be so futuristic, to talk about America in a futuristic way, of what her hopes and dreams for the country, as well as those for Black Americans and particularly women in this country, who at that time, sometimes people forget that women in that time couldn't even have a bank account in their names. And so much of their lives had to be controlled by men. So many career options that they wanted just were not possible like they are today. But she was able to talk about all of that, and you can see that in the characters' eyes as they pursue their own dreams of what they hope for the future for themselves and for the next generation. I would say that it's a play that has great characters, great moments of laughter, great moments of drama. It's multi-generational. It's a play for the entire family. It's a great opportunity for discussion and reflection after you see it. And it's such a well-written play that you feel like it might be comparable in some ways to one of your favorite television shows or one of your favorite movies. Lorraine Hansberry has influenced an entire generation of writers. And so when you come and see the play and listen to it and watch it, you will be reminded of some of your favorite works, because she has been that influential. And to know that she was someone who was so young, at 29 years old, that wrote this play and died so early at 34 years old, and just in that short span of her career still has something that is this timeless. And that really stands the test of time when you have a work of art like this one that is able 65 years later to still be as relatable. And it's still one of the most produced plays in the world today, and still extremely popular. And a lot of people, those who know it, do know it from maybe because they read in an English class, or they may have seen a community theater production, or maybe seen the old movie with Sidney Poitier, or Felicia Rashad in the more recent version, Denzel Washington, those different people. But it is still a timeless classic that I'm sure that you will enjoy, and it's got something a little bit for everybody, and especially how it speaks to the future of the American woman. As artists, one of the joys to be both as a director here, but also be a part of the artistic team that gets a chance to select the seasons, is I have a big hand in the casting of everything and the hiring for a project. And so I love to have people in a room that share Theater Square's values and our mission, and really believes in theater as an opportunity to really just help our community come together and laugh together, and talk about those themes and enjoy those themes and think about and reflect on those things after they see the play. But with this play, it gave me a great opportunity to bring together people from different parts of my life. Our Walter Lee is my good friend Dominique Daniel, who was really my brother from another mother, and roommates, and we've known each other for nearly 30 years. Vanessa Butler, who I've known for nearly 15 years from Connecticut. Tony King, who plays Asagai, who was one of my students, one of my MFA students at UConn. I met much of the design team I worked with in the past, from Bill Tolles to Baron Pugh, Jason Lynch, And then, you know, we have some T2 favorites. You know, we always love those actors who are loved in other productions, and we always say, okay, we got to bring this actor back for another one. And with that, we have Jordan Williams, who spent 4 years of his time here at the University of Arkansas studying his MFA, and then was in last season's Fat Ham as T.O., and people will see him as George Murchison in this play, and he's a completely different character, and you can come back and go, wow, that was the guy who played T.O. in Fat Ham just a few months ago. Kathy Tyree, who plays Mama for us in this play, Lena Younger, was in Chicken and Biscuits a few seasons ago and was really beloved in that production, and as well, like with Jordan, is playing a completely different character. And then we have our young Travis, who is a 12-year-old actor who's just getting his career started professionally, Judah Asher. And the play also features local actors as well that are from the Fayetteville area, Justin Stewart and Justin Fletcher, who are in really fantastic roles as well. So, you know, tremendous work. And then we also have Ja Wade, who is from Detroit as well, and who went to the same high school as Dominique Daniel. So, so a lot of different connections within our cast and group where folks know each other from different cities and different walks of life, and people who are just all over from, you know, different parts and different shows of my life. But that's the great thing about theater and artistry, is that it's a large community, but often it's still very, very small in the sense that you're always kind of, you know, one or two artists away from another.